Today we got part 2 on can you play Counter-Strike 2 with a 12-year-old CPU? Let's get her done. This is completely stock, so it will be running at about 3.7 gigahertz. The GPU is a 1080 Ti and it is completely stock, no overclock whatsoever. We'll be running it on the CS2 frames per second benchmark, and the first test will be all low settings. You'll notice that I put some gameplay in the top right corner, also with the CPU temperature and roughly what it's running for clock speeds. While we wait for this benchmark to finish, you can see in the top right here the gameplay and how it performs. As you can see in the top right, everything looks quite nice in gameplay.
I'm going to plant the bomb at B.
I wonder how it's going to stack up to high settings. This is all on low. Everything low, low, low. And now you'll see in the top right corner the i7-3770K, its cores, the temperature, and roughly what the cores are running at. Again, everything's stock, so it's going to be running at 3.7. This says 3.711. It's just saying that it's actually running at 3.7 gigahertz. Not bad. Everything ran at 185 average frames. More than what I thought it would do. Next, we will be putting the settings to medium and then rerunning the test. I'm just gonna take a guess. It's gonna do about 165, maybe 150 frames per second. Pause the video, go down to the comment section, let me know what you think it's gonna do on medium. And I'm just gonna grab myself some water while this test goes. Maybe you should grab yourself one as well. Alright, the test is all done. Let's see what the average frames are. What do you know? 166, not half bad of a guess. Next off, we're going to overclock the CPU. I'm only going to be putting it to 4.1 gigahertz. I have gotten this i7-3770K to 5.2 before, but I'm not sure if it's going to run CS2 at that speed. Just going to shut it all down, go into the BIOS, and just change over those settings to 4.1. What do you know? Seemed to work. 4.1, here we go. And I'm just going into the task manager and making sure it is reading 4.1, and it is. So I will run the test. As you can see, everything's set up the same as it was, and it's still reading 3.7 gigahertz on the i7-3770K. That is incorrect on this utility for some reason. It's not switching over, but you'll notice that the temperature is going to be slightly higher. And I'm just gonna let this test run and see what we get on low settings. Alright, the first test of low settings on CS2 with 4.1 GHz overclock on a 12-year-old CPU. What is the score? Okay, so apparently my camera cut off that part of the screen, but the number says 196 with a P of 114. That's okay. I've seen worse, that's for sure. But holy 196, that is insane. Now I'm very curious on what medium settings and high settings is going to be on this. 4.1 seems to increase it quite a bit. That is insane. What, 185 before, 180 before for low settings? Now we're hitting 196? Crazy. Remember, that's not even doing anything to the GPU. Like, we just put it on a slight overclock. That is a slight overclock for this CPU. We should be able to do 4.5. Anyone should be able to do 4.5 to maybe 4.7 on an air cooler on an i7 3770K, which means this CPU, for its age, is still performing quite well for even modern day games. Even though it's not Counter-Strike anymore, it can still run Counter-Strike 2. Alright, let's just get this thing all set up for medium settings. Run this test and hopefully our minds will be blown. Comment below on what you think it's going to do on medium settings. Again, my camera cut it off, but to my surprise, it is 174 frames per second. That is, wow. As you notice in the top right, it says 3.7 still. It is not running at 3.7, although running at 4.1 and the temperatures are still at about the same temperature it was before. That's only due to the custom water cooling loop that I have and the decent water block that Corsair makes. Alright, on to the final test, a very high, everything cranked to the max test. The only thing that I did not enable is the NVIDIA Boost, as since it's just a 1080 Ti, there's just no point in putting that on. It'll just affect the frames for no reason. Comment below on how many frames you think it's going to get on very high settings. I'm thinking it's going to do at least 130 now that I can see the performance it really has. If you enjoyed watching this Counter-Strike 2 PC video, oh, it's done. What did we get? $164. That is crazy. So after this, I reran the test. And yeah, it's getting 164 on high settings with an i7 and a 1080 Ti at 4.1 gigahertz on the i7. leave a like, leave a comment on what you think is the best part, and the frames, of course. Let me know what kind of frames you guessed and whether or not you guessed somewhat correctly. This is older hardware, so it's kind of hard to tell, of course, but I will be running newer settings and newer hardware and newer everything here soon. It does take a while to make these videos, so if you could subscribe, give that video a thumbs up, or give me a comment in the comment section on what you would like to see, let me know. I'm very curious myself on what everyone likes. I do prefer to do these kind of videos as I am very good with PCs and have been doing it for quite some time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to get her done.